I want to take you today through a small ChatGPT versus Claude test. So, a friend of mine recently joined an academic institution and they gave a calendar and for the whole year. And I said, why not? It was a PDF file. Why not take this and put it up as a Google Calendar so that it's easy? It'll remind them of notifications, all of that. So I said, my Claude credits were out on my Pro subscription, so I moved to ChatGPT, which is the free version, and this is what I happened. So I gave it the PDF file, I gave it the prompt, carefully read through, and then give me two Google Calendar files. It said it can do this, but I don't want to give you broken calendar files, yada yada yada. It was like if you can upload the original digital PDF or Word Excel. I said okay. I took the PDF online, I converted it to Word, I gave it. So then it's like the Word document is essentially an image-based document. And I know it is not because I can see how editable it is. Yeah. So I don't know what ChatGPT was smoking, but yeah. Hallucination? Can't really call this hallucination, but yeah, it is in that zone. Anyway, my ChatGPT is trained to give me three questions, two or three questions at the end of every prompt. So it gave me three questions. I answered that. At the end of every response, my ChatGPT gives me a couple of questions. So then I was like, maybe you can try creating a master file and then create it, because I was like, my God, already it's asking me so many questions, it's not going to be able to do it. So let me ask it to do it in a more structured way. So then chat is like, that's the right intermediate step. I'm like, okay, great. Where are my calendar files? And it's like, I expect two markdown source files to contain roughly whatever. I'm like, and it had asked me internal day order labels, are they required? I said, yeah, maybe in a third separate calendar. Then chat is like, yes, that's the cleanest design, and it's going through a lot of design, whatever decisions. And it gave me an additional refinement to recommend in unique event ID. I was like, sure, go ahead. So chat is like, sounds good. I'll build this in 4 stages, yada yada yada. Stage 1, 2, 3, 4. And another enhancement it wants to make consistent prefixes. I said, okay, go ahead. And it's like, understood. I'll treat this as a data conversion project rather than a simple calendar project. Plan, all of that. Wow. Okay. I'm like, okay, generate those files. Now you can guess that my patience is wearing thin. Yeah. So then it's like, I can't honestly generate the files from the uploaded documents. I'm like, why not? So because the document is embedded page images. So I said, wonderful. I took the PDF online, converted to Markdown. And I've told you guys this before in one or two videos. Markdown is basically text format of documents, like how CSV is text format of spreadsheets. So it's easier for generative AI and programs to read it because it's pure text, right? But it preserves the formatting to a certain extent. So I gave it the markdown file, and then chat is like, oh, this is so much better. However, creating three complete is still far beyond what I can generate in a single response. So sizable conversion project, yada yada yada. But what's next? Like, what should I do next? I don't know. Hey, I'm the human, you're the AI, you tell me. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll ask you, how do you want to split this project? So it's like I'll split it into 4 milestones, each one saying something. Okay, I said, wonderful. Milestone 1, 2, 3, 4. By now, I'm not even reading what it is saying. Yeah, I'm like, come on, my patience has worn thin. So it's like I'll do a master structure and whatever. I said, okay, generate the master event register now. So then it said I've generated the first draft of the master event register, yada yada yada. Version 2 will be substantially cleaner and all of that. So I said, okay, generate version 2. Yes. And this is where dataset becomes useful, yada yada yada. And then it's like, I'll make one improvement. I'm like, okay, create it. And then it's like, I can't honestly create the version 2 workbook in a single response. I'm like, okay, so what can you do? I'd want to process it in 4 batches. I said, okay, complete batch one. And it says, now this is a manageable piece of work. I'm like, okay, at least finally I'll have some output to look at. So what if it takes 4 batches? So it gives me all of that and says the first batch will likely contain 60 or 80 normalized event records. I said, okay, once you're satisfied with the structure, we can apply the same format. I'm like, okay, complete batch one. And now it says, I can't truthfully complete batch one in this response. So it was recommending batch 1A, 1B, 1C. I said, okay. Complete batch 1A. See, this is what the sunk cost fallacy, I think in marketing it's called. Marketing, whatever, human behavior. I've already put in so much time into this prompt. I'm like, I'm just going to see it through. Imagine 4 milestones and it wants to do 3 batches for 1 milestone. So that could be about 12 pieces of output. I'm like, that's okay. If you're going to give it to me, that's fine. So I'm like, okay, complete batch 1A. And it says batch 1 is June 2026 only, and it gives me the full list, day order, holidays, whatever, tells me notes. And I'm like, where is my output? Have you completed output of batch 1A? It's like, no, what I produced was a preview of the structure, not a completed batch 1A. And then it gives me its proposal. I'm like, approved, because it said once you approve that file, I'll produce batch 1B. I said approved. So it's like approved. I'll treat this as a structured data project rather than a conversational task. By this point, I'm like, why are we doing the same thing again and again? So it's telling me what the deliverables are, tells me what the quality standards are, what it's going to do after it's finalized. By this time, I've had it. I'm like, chat, this is enough. I don't want to deal with this. I just remembered I had another alternate email account in which I could open Claude. So I went to Claude, gave it the same PDF, gave the same initial prompt, and it took about a minute, minute and a half, and it said both files were generated correctly. Here's a summary of what I did. You can see there's an ICS file here. Oh, I can't preview it here. But yeah, it imported into Google Calendar just fine. And I was like, yeah, that was brilliant. Could you give me another third calendar with week number and day as per academic schedule? Right. And it pulled the data and gave me the third calendar. That's it. And this is increasingly something I'm finding after ChatGPT became very capable, widely capable, image wise and other kinds of voice modes and everything. It's become a great Swiss Army knife tool, but at certain key data analysis and programming tasks, coding tasks, writing scripts, it fails terribly in comparison to Claude. And remember, I've used both free versions, yeah, ChatGPT free and Claude free. And so this is my understanding. For data analysis, programming, anything that requires that exactness of eyesight or whatever you want to call it, I go to Claude. Actually, now for 90-95% of my work, I go to Claude. I use ChatGPT mainly as image generation, as a glorified Google search. Even that, I go to Claude, but when I don't want to use up my credits, I use ChatGPT. When accuracy is not important, when reliability of the response is not important, I go to ChatGPT. When I need more accurate programming, data analysis, I go to Claude, and that seems to work. When I'm writing something creative, when I've written a poem, when I've written a song, and I need some feedback on it, I go to ChatGPT. But even that, I sometimes go to Claude. I just prefer Claude generally in my personal life. But yeah, your mileage may vary. You can let me know in the comments below what you think. Yeah.